of all, I would say there is a small advantage if you want to book the holiday early, because what you can do is you can pay in installments. It doesn't make it any cheaper, but certainly it makes it easier to digest. If you've got a limited amount of money, then certainly doing that makes it feel more affordable, and it makes it less painful when you think about going on holiday. My second thought is really about the start of the holiday. I always want to feel like it's a little bit special. So I use an executive lounge. I've got a credit card that lets me do that, but you can buy it extra on top of the holiday as well. It does cost a little bit of money, but then if you don't maybe get food on the plane or buy a sandwich around the airport, you can offset some of the cost. And I think to go in that executive lounge and have a little chill out before your flight is well worth doing. Next up, the flight itself. Look, it's around 4 hours, sometimes a bit more, sometimes a little bit less. That is quite a while to be sat still on a plane. So I would say pay for the extra legroom. It's not too much. You can get it overlooking the wings or at the front of the plane. And certainly I think it's worth the investment. My next point is about the group transfers on the coaches. Don't get too excited if you get through too quickly, because they will wait for everyone, of course, to get through from the various flights. So yeah, if you're a little bit late, don't get too concerned about that. And if you're very early, don't get too excited. My next point is for solo travelers. If you're like me and not too much of a drinker, then I would say go for the self-catering. I'm not sure it's really worth paying for the all-inclusive. Look, clearly, if you're a family with lots of kids, it's certainly worth it. I know I've got friends who do that sort of traveling, but if you're a solo traveler, I certainly think going self-catering and having some of the meals in the apartment is worth doing. Now, many of you might just want to kick back, sit on the sunbed and enjoy the sun. But if you want to get around the island, there is a really good bit of news. Car hire in Gran Canaria, certainly compared to where else I've been recently, was pretty cheap. It was about 90 euros or so, all inclusive, for 2 days. And I think that's a pretty good deal. Then on top of the cheap car hire is the price of petrol. I travelled in December 2022, and I would say the petrol was around 40p a litre cheaper than back in the UK. So it made the idea of hiring a car and having a look around the island all the more attractive. My next thought is around driving around the island. If you're a confident driver, you'll be fine. If you're a nervous driver, maybe have a second thought about doing it. There are a lot of winding roads, a lot of switchbacks, and there are some drivers who, shall I put it nicely, are a little more confident than you and will be up your tail, beeping their horns. I'm fine with that. If it makes you feel a little nervous, then I'm just warning you to be aware that might be something that you face when driving around the island. But overall, if you're a confident driver, if you're used to driving a lot, you'll really enjoy having a look around Gran Canaria. The next thought is really around what you can expect when you're driving around. Driving through the central part of Gran Canaria, there are some stunning valleys, views and forests. Right at the top, you have some amazing views across the Atlantic from beaches and cliff tops. Then there is the capital, Las Palmas. I would say it's probably worth a day of your time to have a look around, certainly around the old city. And if you want to spend €2 like I did in December 2022, go to the top of the cathedral for some amazing views like this. Now, while you're enjoying these shots of Gran Canaria, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel to support it, or even hit a like on this video. We've got loads more places to go together in the future. Then there's your journey home. You'll get a text from Jet2 with a window for pickup and a place where they'll be. That was all fine for me. The transfer to the airport was smooth. Getting through the airport was pretty quick, a lot quicker than it was a couple of years ago. And the flight home, well, it was actually back early. Well, that's the final video as part of my series looking at Jet2 and heading towards Gran Canaria. I've got a similar video coming up a bit later in the year, looking at flying out to the Eastern Mediterranean.